Hey guys, what's up? It's Harley and I am here to do my intro clip to this video because I forgot to do one. This is my April wrap up, and so I will be throwing it back to past me who filmed all these clips throughout the month because I feel like it's easier to talk about them when I remember what's going on than at the end of the month. So take it over past me. So it is April 6th today, so we are 6 days into the Orilium Readathon. The other day, I think it was like 2 days ago, I finished my first book, which I forgot to update, as usual, but I'm here today to do it. I read a Duchess A by Charis Michaels. This is a historical romance that's kind of fairy tale inspired. As you can tell, it's like Snow White inspired. Got the apple, he's the huntsman. It was a fun time. So basically our main character, Helena, she has been betrothed to this guy that she does not want to marry. She does not like him. He is completely uninteresting to her. He's kind of degrading. She just does not anticipate a happy marriage with him. So she's been trying for years to get away from him, get out of this marriage. And his uncle hires this guy to make sure she doesn't run away and that they get married. And so our fella here that he hired, his name is Declan. He was in jail for the disappearance of another girl. He's a mercenary. He was hired to escort this girl to another country and she disappeared. And they're like, you lost her, you might have killed her or something, so they lock her up. She ran away from him. He didn't kill anybody, he didn't do nothing. But he's locked up in jail for a crime he didn't commit. And the uncle is like, I can make that all go away. So he hires him to watch her and pretend to be a groom, her personal groom. And they end up falling in love, which was a lot of fun. I really enjoyed their chemistry together. She was very forceful, okay? He is a mercenary, so like I'm like expecting him to be like, we're gonna do things my way. She comes in and she's like, no. We're doing things my way, whether you like it or not. You're gonna follow my lead. And he's just like, okay. He was just so taken back by her that he was like finding himself doing whatever she said. But they end up falling in love, and I thought that they were really cute. I love their chemistry together, and I just wanted them to be happy, and I really wanted to see her with his family, because he's always going on about his family. He does all this stuff for them. That's why he's still continuing on with this job. Like, he sees her, thinks she's a nice person and everything, and probably doesn't deserve to be married to this other guy, but he needs to get out of jail to help provide for his father and his sisters. So that's why he's kind of roped into this. But she offers him a counter deal. She lives on this patch of land that her grandmother gave to her. It is under her name, and she offers to let them come live with her because why not? She just wants to grow some apples. So yeah. So I thought this was really cute. The Snow White references were subtle. They weren't like thrown in your face. And there actually is a Snow White character. I thought our main character was going to be like the Snow White, but no, there's a whole Snow White character in this book, and she was something. She was something. But I gave this one a 4.5. I really enjoyed it. So I used this book for my elemental studies prompt, which was fruit on the cover. I was like, I can't remember it. Yeah, fruit on the cover. As I said, she is holding an apple because she has an apple orchard. So it is Monday, April 7th. I don't know why I paused for so long, but I finished another book. I finished The Forgotten Book by, can't I remember her name? I listened to the audiobook and they said it, and I knew I was saying it wrong. Mëtchild Glaser. As always, I don't know. There's her name. Sorry, I butcher your name every single time. But yes, I read The Forgotten Book. This is a standalone, and it's a little bit similar to her other book, The Book Jumper, in that it does take place in that it does deal with book related topics. In this one, the girl finds a diary. To me, it made me think of Tom Riddle's journal, diary, whatever, in Chamber of Secrets from Harry Potter, where you write in it, but instead of somebody responding, it is what you write in the book comes true. So at one point she gets mad at somebody, and this is before she realizes what's happening. She writes that she hopes he gets eaten by lions, and then next thing she knows, there's a lion loose running around. So yeah, but it was a little unclear on what these books were. I guess there were multiple, but this was the last one, and it was just a little confusing. And I feel like the plot of this book wasn't quite clear. Like I said, she can write in this book and things will happen. I feel like they didn't really take advantage of that at all. One of the characters, his sister, went missing 4 years prior, and that kind of ties into this a little bit. And I also feel like that was a little underwhelming, how that was resolved at the end. So I don't know. I was not really feeling this book. If I wasn't listening to it on audio, and if I wasn't doing it for the Orilium Readathon, I probably would have DNF'd this. But as it is, I'm going to give this one a 2 stars. It was okay. It was easy to listen to, but the story itself was kind of confusing. Yeah. So this was my book for Conjuration, which was a random country generator, and the author is from Germany. New little view. Don't know what it looked like because I just got home. But I have a couple bookish updates for you. I read A River Enchanted by Rebecca Ross, which I kind of forgot about that I needed this for the April Orilium prompt, because usually during the readathon months we don't have a prompt for the monthly, yearly Adventure in Eldia readathon, but this year we do because it's different. And so I was like, oh my god, I need a book for that. So my prompt was to find a book that had the word river in it. So A River Enchanted. This is a adult fantasy book, and I thought it was very interesting. It felt like it was set I don't know if it was set in Scotland or it was just Scottish influence, but that's what it felt like to me. But basically there's these 2 clans that live on this island, and they're kind of at war. I guess they can't cross a boundary or something without being detected by the other one. But some of the young girls are, on the one side, are being taken and disappearing. And so they call back one of our main characters, Jack, who is a bard, because they want him to play for the spirits to see if they can help. There's a train coming. I was like, what is so loud? But yeah, they want him to play for the spirits to see if they can tell them where the girls are. And the laird of his clan, or future laird, I guess, is his enemy from childhood. So that is basically the plot of the book. I thought it was very interesting. I was confused on how magic works on the island, because some of them, they had powers, but I wouldn't say that they had powers. It was like Jack, he was a bard, he could play musical instruments, but it would also cost him a little if he played for a certain reason, to talk to these spirits. There would be a cost. And his mother weaves flowers. I don't remember exactly what reason, but it also had a cost. So that was a little confusing, but I did think the world is very interesting. There is a sequel, which I want to listen to before I forget about what happened in this one. So yeah, so that was the first book I read. I ended up giving that 3.75 stars because, like I said, I did enjoy it, but I was confused by the magic system. The next book I read was Tattered Stars by Catherine Cowles. This is the first book in the Tattered and Torn series, and I read my first Catherine Cowles book in March. So I was excited to dive into more of her works, and I used this for the prompt. I forget what his class was for. I'll put it on the screen somewhere. But I used it for the prompt where you were supposed to steal a book from somebody else's TBR. So I stole this one off my friend Victoria's TBR because she had put it on because I had talked to her about Catherine Cowles the previous month, and she was like, well, I'm gonna read the book that you got me. So I was like, all right, I'm gonna steal that too, and we ended up buddy reading that for April. So we buddy read 2 books for this month. We haven't read the other one yet, but I did enjoy this one a little less than the first Sutter Lake book. I really enjoyed that one. This one, I liked the characters, I liked the plot, and I feel like we got to know the town a little bit, not as much as the other one. There was just like a couple small things that like bothered me. So basically on this one, we have our main character, Everly, and our other main character, Hayes. These are the 2 characters that we're following. When they were younger, Everly's father kidnapped Hayes' younger sister and held her in their storage shed up in the mountains for like 5 days. And they're kind of like in a cult. I don't know if you would really say it's like a cult, but it's a cult to me. It felt like a cult. They were kind of like in this prepared wilderness cult where they like lived off the land, and they're like ready for attacks, and they don't trust the government. And her father kidnapped Shiloh because he thought her family was evil. I don't know. I am curious if we will ever get to talk to her father because he's in jail, because Everly ratted him out to the police as an 11-year-old, and her whole family hates her because of that, which is freaking ridiculous. I mean, he kidnapped a child and you're all mad at a child that did the right thing? I don't know, but yeah, so I was expecting the whole town to kind of have like some kind of prejudice against her. Surprisingly, not. I'm very happy about that. The only ones that kind of gave her attitude were Hayes initially, but mostly it was because she was a reminder of what happened, and also kind of a scapegoat for his feelings because he was supposed to be watching Shiloh when she was taken. So it was easier to hate Everly than to deal with his feelings about hating himself. So Hayes kind of had an attitude for a while until his whole family was like, get over it. And her family were a bunch of assholes, okay? Her mother passed away and left her the land that they lived on. But her brother, complete asshole, thinks because he's the man, he should have gotten the land. Her uncle, also an asshole. They're cut from the same cloth. She does have a cousin who is stuck still in this cult, but she was nice, but she just needed help getting out. But yeah, but I did like that Hayes' whole family just was accepting of Everly. They did not hold anything against her. They were thankful for her for what she did so they could get their daughter back, and they were all super nice and helped her out when she moved back, helped her build this animal sanctuary, which I'm hoping that we get to see more of because I would love that. But yeah, so obviously Hayes and Everly end up falling in love with each other, and like I said, I didn't like that his whole family was accepting of that, but I wish we got to see a little more of Hayes seeing what a good person Everly was and realizing that she wasn't a bad person. It was all just his inner turmoil projecting on her. And then also Everly, I love Hayes' family, okay? Don't get me wrong, but I wish Everly interacted a little more with people outside of his family. Like I said, she has her cousin Addie, but she had her own stuff going on. She has a friend from where she used to live that would occasionally text her, but like I wish we got more like phone calls with her. Everly also works at the vet, and we get a little bit of their interactions, but I wish we just got more. I just wanted more of Everly outside of Hayes' family. I just wanted to know that she had a life outside of them and that she had other people in this town to talk to. But I did enjoy that one. There was a suspense element because somebody was trying to kidnap a couple people, Everly being one of them. So you didn't know who was doing it. I was both surprised and not surprised about who it was. Because, like, they did cross my mind. But I didn't really take them seriously as a suspect. My thoughts were on somebody completely ridiculous he was just a little weird at times, and I was like, oh no, he's got something going on. He's doing something. He didn't do nothing. He was fine. But I gave that one 3.75 as well. Excuse my vlogging skills in these upcoming clips because I don't remember how to vlog at all. Last month I thought I did decent. This month we're just all over the place. Hey guys, it's the 24th of April. Side note, happy birthday to my #1 book boyfriend, Aaron Warner. Love you, babe. But I am back today with 3 updates because I have not updated in a hot minute. So we're gonna hop right on into it. So first up, we have Beautifully Broken Life by Catherine Cowles. This is the second book in the Sutter Lake series. This one follows Tessa and Liam, who we both meet in the first book. And I was obsessed with this from the prologue. I was like, 5-star read. It was just so good. The first book was also a 5-star read, so far I'm loving this series. I'm hoping it'll all be 5 stars. That'd be so great. But this is a romantic suspense book, and I ate it up. So Tessa is very mysterious in the first book. The people in the town don't know much about her. She moved there like a few years ago. She is running from an abusive ex, and that is why she's in town. So she has a different name, her looks are different, she is deep hiding. And Liam is a country singer. Is he a country singer? He might not be a country singer, but he's a singer, like a famous singer, and he is dealing with a stalker situation that kind of went bad. So that's why he's hiding out in Sutter Lake. And they meet and are drawn to each other, and I just love this book, and I liked seeing him help Tessa feel more confident and get some of her power back. But yeah, this was really good. I really loved this. So 5 stars for this one. So I read this for Spells and Incantations, which was to read a book with a word from the last title of the book you read, if that made sense. But anyways, when I looked at the list, I had just read Beautifully Broken Pieces, so I was like, Beautifully Broken Life, yes please. So that is what I read for that class. The next book I have to talk about is To Sir Phillip with Love by Julia Quinn. This is the 5th book, I believe, in the Bridgerton series, and this one is Eloise's story. And let me just start off by saying that Eloise from the books and Eloise from the show feel like 2 completely separate identities, okay? I feel like Eloise from the show has a lot more personality, and in this, Eloise was just kind of looking to get married. Like, she put off getting married and turned down all these proposals, being like, well, it's not right, this and that. Like, yes, girl, okay? If it's not right, it's not right. But in this one, she's writing letters to Philip, who is, in the book, her cousin Marina's husband. And Marina had passed away, and she sent a letter of condolence to him, and they kind of start a letter relationship. And he casually just proposes in a letter, and she does not respond, and instead just shows up being like, let's try it out. She spontaneously showed up because she didn't want her family involved, because, you know, all them siblings, all them brothers are going to be annoying. and throws him for a bit of a loop because he was like, oh, must be my proposal came out a little too strong. And yeah, so basically she's just like, oh, why not get married? Why not see if this works? Whereas I feel like Eloise in the show would not be doing that. So I'm very curious what they're going to do with Eloise this season. If they go down this like storyline of her and Philip, which I do really like Philip. I thought he was interesting. He was probably like one of my favorite characters out of this book. I liked the storyline with his children and like her deciding if she can be a mother to his children. I liked that, but I hope that they let Eloise and Philip have more like intellectual conversations, because as we know, Eloise is very opinionated in the show and Philip is a botanist. So I feel like they could have some good discussions, and I hope they kind of go in annoyance to lovers kind of route, because they do kind of irritate each other just like a little bit. So I would like to see that. I think that would be fun. But the book itself was kind of boring. I gave it 2.75 stars, which is the same as I gave Colin and Penelope's book, because I thought that one was kind of dull too. So that's not saying much for the book itself, but yeah. So I read this one for Astronomy, which was color wheel, and I had gotten cyan, so that like matches the color of the book. And the last book I have to talk about right now is The Duke and Lady Scandal by Christy Carlisle. This is the first book in her, I guess, Princes of London romance series. This is like her newer one that just came out. I listened to this one on audiobook because it came in through my library. I had a holdout on it, but I also bought this copy like a week ago. Not really, since it was the same one that I put a hold on, but yeah. But anyways, I ended up giving this one 5 stars. I've given all of her books 5 stars so far, so she's like definitely my favorite, I would say, romance author, because I think all of her characters are just so fun, and she just makes such a swoon-worthy romance that I'm like invested in. But this one, we follow Alexandra. She is from a family of treasure hunters, and they own an antique shop, and she always kind of has to set out the adventure part of this family. So her siblings go on this adventure without her. She stays home, takes care of the shop, but she overhears a plot to steal the crown jewels, and that leads her to the office of Detective Inspector Benedict Drake. I think that's how his name was. But yeah, he is a detective at Scotland Yard, and he is on this case of looking for some person named M, and it kind of correlates with what she overheard, and he is instantly smitten with her. That's what I describe their relationship as. They were both smitten with each other. But yeah, he is just taken with her from the moment he meets her, but he's like, I don't need distractions, I'm not gonna see her again. And of course he ends up running into her like all the time, and they were just so cute together. I just loved them, and she was always like, let me help you, like I'm just gonna show up, and he'd be like, no, stay away, stay safe, and she'd just be like, no, I'm gonna follow and I'm gonna be useful. But they were super cute together, and I loved it so much. So if you're looking for a historical romance author, definitely check out Christy Carlisle's books, because I love them. I ended up using this one for Art of Illusion. I don't need that class, but that's what I chose, because the prompt is book you already plan on reading this month, and I didn't necessarily plan on reading this, but I did have a holdout for the library, and it did come through in April, and I read it, so using it for that. We are going to multitask because Daisy wants cuddles, and I need to refilm this clip because I filmed it backwards. So yeah. Reading update. I did forget to mention a book I DNF'd. I DNF'd A Tempest of Desire by Lorraine Heath. It's like the 5th book in the Scandalous Gentleman of St. James, something like that. I listened to the first 4 earlier this year, and I really enjoyed them, but this one I just wasn't getting into, and it is a lot newer than the other ones, so that might be it. I don't know, but I did end up DNFing it. The next book I have to talk about is Firebird by Juliette Cross. This is the Fairy Loot edition. It's very pretty. This one though, I did not end up liking. I probably should have DNF'd it like super early, but I pushed through and then I just felt like I needed to finish it because I was already so far in. This one takes place in like ancient Rome setting, and it's in the time of like Julius Caesar. So our main character is Julius Caesar's nephew, Julian, and they're actually dragon shifters. So it's a very brutal world, very violent. It's a lot more violent than I was expecting. There was a lot of blood and stuff. And then our female character is named Melina. She is a dancer who ends up being taken as a slave, and she ends up being Julian's body slave. And now the doggies are excited. Yeah, so there's a romance between them. It was a little weird. To be honest, I did not feel the romance at all between them. It felt like they used the mating bond as an excuse to get them together. I didn't really know what the dogs are playing is distracting me. I didn't really know why they liked each other outside of that. There was some things I did like. I liked a couple of the other slaves. I thought they're very nice. And of course there is a storyline that you find out at the end. That's a little interesting, but I'm not going to continue on. I gave this book 1 star because a lot of it did make me feel very uncomfortable. I read this for, oh my god, the dogs. I read this for my Shapeshifting class, which was to read a book with dragons. And the last book I have to talk about right now is the first book in the Zodiac Academy series, The Awakening. I don't remember the authors' names. There's 2 authors. So, like, one's Caroline something, and I think the other one's like Susanne. Don't quote me on it. I'll put it somewhere. But I know some people Sansa. I know. Kenny, come here. I know some people love this book and some people hate this book. I really enjoyed it. I thought it was a fun time. I wasn't expecting too much going in, but it is a school setting, which I really enjoyed. This one we follow 2 sisters. They are twins, Tori and Darcy, and they end up finding out that they are the heirs to Solaria, which is a Fey realm. These dogs. And they get taken back to Zodiac Academy. You guys, do you have to do this right now? Do you have to do this? Look at them. Just baby. Okay. What was I saying? They get taken back to Zodiac Academy where they must go to school in order to get their inheritance. But in their disappearance, these 4 other families have been ruling the kingdoms. And I don't know how that works. Like, are all 4 supposed to rule together? Eventually, is only one of them supposed to rule? I don't know. But they don't want to give up their throne. So they're very mad that these girls are here. And they are trying to like bully them out. But the girls literally are just there for the money. They just want their inheritance. That's it. They don't care about being heirs to the crown or whatever. And I really did enjoy it. It has a lot of fun things. There's like a lot of different creatures, and then there's also like elemental powers. So I'm very excited to continue on with that series. And I ended up swapping out my book for this class is for Alchemy, and it was a book with all cap titles. I was going to read Powerless by Elsie Silver, which I did start, but I don't think I'm going to finish that before the end of the month, so I swapped it with The Awakening. Alright, back again with my last update of the Orilium Readathon. Is actually May 2nd, so the Readathon is over now, but I have to talk about my last book that I read, which is Of Gold and Greed by Chanda Hahn. It is the 6th book in the Daughters of Evil series. This is a really fun retelling series. Each one follows like a specific story, and this one is a Rumpelstiltskin series. This is a really fun series. I really enjoyed this one. This is one I think is my third favorite of the entire series. This one follows Rhea, who is one of the daughters of evil, and she is sent to the village of Kiln to help with something that's going on there. There's a disturbance in the mountain, and she goes there. She stays at her mother's old house, and there's a snowstorm, and somebody breaks into her house, and we meet Cash, who is the love interest in this book. And I thought he was a lot of fun. He gave me strong Flynn Rider vibes, and I loved it. But I thought they were really cute together. But we go from there. She gets involved in something that's going on at the castle, and obviously she has to defeat whatever the big evil is. So yeah, like I said, this one was a lot of fun. The whole series as a whole is a lot of fun. I gave this one 4.5 stars. This is for restoration class, which was to read a book with like a 4+ average rating on whatever reading app you use. So yeah. So these are all the physical books that I read, as well as there was some ebooks that I don't own and audiobooks. But yeah, these are all the books I read for Orilium in spring 2025. And I did complete my aspiration of Masters of Elements, as well as Hearthkeeper. That was the other one I did this year. So I'm good to go for the next term in the fall. But I love this readathon, as always. If you haven't participated before, I strongly recommend that you do. It's never too late to join. I will leave the link to like G's playlist down below. But yeah, that's all I have for this video. See you guys.